Hello, 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 and welcome to a very special stream tonight. I am so excited for this. Today I will be regaling for you 2 ghost stories from my personal collection, my personal experience, which I'm very excited for. Before we get started, I wanted to put in a new thing, so just give me 1 second. Okay, we're almost there. Don't worry. Don't worry. I promise it's gonna be worth it, I think. Okay. All right. So we're gonna mute that, and we're gonna bring this one in. Ooh, isn't that nice? Spooky. I want to hear it too. Okay. All right, that's nice. All right. See, I should have done this before I even started, but I was too excited. So, now that that's a thing, we can get started. You know, I'm all about the atmosphere, okay? I'm all about making an experience and making sure that it's good. Hello, everybody. Hello, all of my new members. Gosh, there are so many of you. Oh, it just flusters me to see you all. Thank you. Thank you for coming in and enjoying this lovely, spooky, scary night with me. So, the stories that I'm going to be telling you this evening are both of my experiences ghost hunting. And I haven't done this a lot because I'm fucking poor. But I will be doing it again in the future. I haven't been able to do it as of yet, once again. But I'm going to be telling you the 2 stories that I have from my ghost hunting experiences. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay? It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be so much fun. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. So, there we go. That's better. Ah, that's nice. Okay. We're gonna put this down just a little bit. Is ghost hunting a rich man's hobby? I guess so. You gotta I'm not aware of any graveyards in my area that are specifically old. So I go to haunted hotels so that I can sit there and eat and be all snuggled up in my Betty Bye while I'm ghost hunting. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now the first story is going to take you through my first haunted hotel experience. This consisted of me and what we will now be calling the ghoul friend gang, okay? So the ghoul gang consists of me, my husband, and our past roommate, who we'll call Abora. We stayed one night, and we offered this was a hotel that was advertised as haunted, and they advertised themselves as haunted. So they did offer haunted tours and ghost equipment, which I absolutely took, okay? I didn't steal it, but I took them up on their offer to use them and such. Now, this was a very small hotel, okay? And it was an extremely old hotel as well. This was basically like a maybe 3-story building with, it must have been like 7 or 8 rooms on each floor, I'm assuming. They had a lobby, and it was very confusing. We stepped into the lobby, and it was more like somebody's living room. There were couches, and they had some display cases full of old dresses and a piano and some other things that I just felt like we walked into a vintage antique store or something, which was very interesting. There were mannequins with like dresses on them, and I felt like they kind of dressed it up to be a little vintage. It was giving haunted, spooky, okay? It was giving vintage store spook. Now, there was also a bar in this place. And since we had arrived so early, we felt it would be just a little cheeky, just a little fun to grab a drink at the bar and explore the town while we waited for it to get dark. And so we did. Sorry, my cat is playing with something while he's listening to my story. So, we grabbed ourselves a drink or 5, and we went to the thrift store. And this is all important information, okay? Because I want to take you through the entire day. So by the time the actual story starts, you're already in it. You're already part of the story. So we sit at the bar and we get our drinks, and we decide, hey, there's a thrift store right across the street. Why don't we go and find something? So we did. We went right across the street, lovely thrift store, and I found the cutest lace shawl over there. White lace shawl. I ended up wearing it for the entire affair. It's some good memories in that shawl now, okay? It's my haunted shawl. So, once we get back, it's still not dark yet, and they're offering this little ghost tour in a couple hours. So we say, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the front desk and we're gonna pick up our EMF detector that they so generously applied, and then we're gonna go upstairs and hang out, maybe check out our room. We grab our little EMF and we head up to our room. And this was an extremely weird room, okay? There were 2 beds, yes, but they were separated by like a wall, and each side of the room was extremely narrow. But they opened to like the opening to the second room showed just the bed. Like there was basically like an archway, but both beds were still facing each other, so there was no privacy, okay? It was really odd. A very odd room. So, we waited for a little bit until midnight comes, along with the basement tour. Now, there were many other people on this tour. It was not just your ghost ghoul friend gang, okay? There were strangers that we had no idea who they were also on this tour. And while we were in this deep, dark basement, they had shut all the lights off. And for some reason, this basement was still unfinished. The hotel's basement was still raw concrete with wood slabs and no drywall or anything like that, which was very interesting. But they did have plenty of chairs down there. So what we ended up doing was sitting in a big circle as they shut all the lights off and grabbed a voice box. I'm not sure what that is, or how it works, However, it wasn't like a spirit box, if you're familiar with what that is. So, I'm just gonna take a sip of water here. So, what ends up happening is we're sitting in the basement in complete darkness. And not only are we sitting in complete darkness, but they've split everyone up so you're not sitting next to anyone that you know. My husband is on the other side of the room, and my roommate Abora's on the, like, way, way, way down the line to my left. So as we're sitting there, the tour guide is explaining how this thing works, how this little voice box in her hand works. And as she's talking, the box is saying things almost in response. She'll say something like, yeah, these ghosts, they are very responsive when you ask them questions. And the box would go, yeah. And she would go, yeah, they really like to play around with people. And the box would say, murder. And she's like, yeah, they love to play around with people. And the box would say, not kidding. In like a robotic voice, you know. And it was all just kind of, ooh, this is so spooky, funny, haha, you know. However, there was something that was odd. There was a certain feeling in the air, not quite unsettling, but just something that didn't feel quite right. And as I looked for my husband, yes, it was dark, but this little voice box gave off a little bit of light, and I could kind of pick him out across the room. And although I could see him, I could barely see the surroundings behind him. However, what I could see was someone standing right behind him. And this was interesting because he was standing in this open hallway, or he was sitting right in front of this open hallway that nobody was really going in and out of because we were literally all in the basement. And as I'm sitting here and I'm kind of looking at him, and I'm opening my eyes like really wide to try and get as much light into them as possible, you know. I'm sitting there like really trying to see what I'm looking at here. And all I can see is this figure standing behind him. And the odd part is he's kind of looking over his shoulder, and he keeps doing it like somebody's tapping him on the shoulder. And afterwards, once this silly little tour was done, we reconvene in the basement. Like they turn the lights on, and as they do, I see that there was nobody standing there, although as the lights were off, just nanoseconds before, I could definitely see a figure behind him. As we reconvene together, he tells me about how he felt like he could feel somebody breathing on his neck right behind him. And I'm like, that's really interesting, because I could kind of, I don't know, I don't want to freak you out, but I think I saw somebody behind you. And he's like, maybe someone was messing with us. And I was like, you know, that's possible, because they're selling this tour, you know. However, a completely random stranger comes up to us and says, oh, you're the guy in my picture. And she approaches my husband and says, you're the guy that's been in my picture. And he's like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, I was taking some photos, some like low light photos of the basement while we were conducting this experiment. and I captured a figure behind you, standing right behind you. Isn't that amazing? And she shows us this picture. And there is a figure standing behind him, hand to God, okay? It was amazing. It was crazy. Give me one moment. So now that you have now that you've heard that, okay, I've let you absorb that. Now that wasn't all. That was just the beginning of our experience here. We decide, because it was only midnight at this point, but I was super tired, okay? And I was like, I don't think I can make it, because the plan was we were going to do this tour, and then we were going to wait until 3 a.m. And at 3 a.m. we were going to go wandering around the hotel to see if we could find anything during the witching hours. And I couldn't do it. I went to sleep. However, my roommate Abora and my husband were so kind as to wake me up at 2 a.m. to prepare me. And they did. So at 2 a.m., I woke back up and we went on our second ghost hunt excursion. Now, this was a very unique experience for me for a couple of reasons, but the first one being that when I went out into the hallway, I expected silence. I expected darkness. I expected to be tiptoeing around in the dark, lest I wake the other guests of this hotel. However, it was a very active night. The guests of the hotel were all there for the same reason I was. So everyone was out kind of with their EMF readers, scoping around and telling each other the stories of what legends there were to be had in this hotel. It was an extremely unique experience that I have not felt before. Just a bunch of ghost enthusiasts telling each other ghost stories. Now, the first place that I decided I wanted to try and find some activity was the playroom. They had a specific room set up and specific rooms of the hotel that were not rented but were on display, where things had happened or people had died or something like that. And it was admittedly very quiet. I got no activity. So as we made our way across, I hear a shrill scream. And I look to my left, and there's a woman clutching her chest like she just had a heart attack. And I'm like, "Excuse me, ma'am, are you okay?" And she said, "You scared the shit out of me just now." And we both started laughing. And I said, "Why? What happened?" And she's like, "Well, I saw you in your like old-timey vintage shawl, and I thought you were a ghost. I thought you were a ghost in the flesh." And that gave me great delight. As we started to talk, I noticed that her and her group were sitting in this chair at the end of the hallway. And my curiosity really got the best of me. I asked her, I said, what's up with this chair? What are you doing? And she said, this is so-and-so's chair. Let's call her Amy. This is Amy's chair. Amy was the wife of the owner, and she hated men. And now, if a man sits in her special chair, she gets angry, and the EMF detector will go off if a man is in her chair. And so we see her sit in the chair, and we see that the EMF detector does not go off. However, 2 of the men in her group decide next to sit in the chair, and both times the EMF detector goes off. Very silly. However, I decide I want to sit in the chair. So I do. And guess what happens? Nothing. The EMF detector is silent. And as my husband sits in the chair, the EMF detector goes off. Now, I haven't told you something about my friend Abora, and I will at this time. Abora is my dear friend, and she is also trans. Abora was not yet out at this time, and she and I knew, that she identified as a woman, but she did not present in such a way yet. However, as Abora sat in the chair, the EMF detector did not go off. And she saw that as a sign that was reaffirming to her in her own gender, which we both found very beautiful. However, did I think that was the scariest evidence of this ghost? Absolutely not. But it was just extremely based. That's all I'm saying. Now, there was one more thing that happened, and really none of these experiences were mine, but they were my husband's and Abora's. But the next thing that happened really shook Abora to her core. Let me tell you something about the group that we've gotten together. Now, this Ghoul Friends gang consists of me, my husband, and Abora. I am an avid ghost believer. My husband is a firm ghost skeptic, and Abora is a scientific mind, or a skeptic with an open mind, ready to be convinced, And this next experience that she had really convinced her. As we went downstairs, we decided to hang out in the lobby because Abora wanted to smoke a cigarette. So me and my husband retired to the vintage lobby and looked around and messed around with the mannequins and the piano that was there. And I think this was near 4 a.m. Now, what happened was Abora peacefully enjoying her cigarette outside when all of a sudden a bang on the window, like that. And she's confused because she's right outside of the window to the lobby, okay? So when she hears this, she's like, they're fucking with me inside. But then again, another bang, and another, and another, knocking on all of the windows on the side of the building, from the first floor all the way up to the third. Every window had banging, knocking on it. And she realized that we were not messing with her, that it could not just be us. As she comes inside, pale as a ghost, cigarette, she didn't even finish it. She had to run back inside. And she said, "Did you guys hear that?" And obviously we were confused, and we said, "What are you talking about?" She said this entire wall of the building had banging on all of the windows, including this lobby window. And we had said, "I'm sorry, but we didn't hear anything." And she was not the same for the rest of the night. After that, we had retired for the evening and were plagued with strange dreams. But that was all that happened, which I realize is not very exciting. However, our next tale was one with far more activity. I had to write it all down because there was so much. How did you feel about that? That wasn't so bad, right? Would you come ghost hunting with me? Do you want to go on a little ghost hunting adventure? I'm happy to hear it. We'll go together and I'll keep you safe. Don't worry. Don't worry about a thing. Now, this next story is one that I was so excited to tell you guys. This is of my second and latest haunted hotel excursion. You'll faint. Good. I'll carry you around. I'll drag you. There's a supposed haunted asylum. Oh, I want to do that so bad. Wouldn't that be fun? A little haunted asylum. Get to know the patients. That would be very fun. Now I want you to prepare yourself mentally for this next haunted hotel tale. This hotel is a historic hotel and one of the most haunted in the state that I live in North America. Very far away from my home. Very far away, but worth the trip, I would say. Now, because of this haunted, it is haunted because of at least 2 people that I'm aware of that died there. It was a worker who had died working on the building and falling from a great height, and the owner who died in their room that they stayed in for 40 years after opening the hotel. They lived and died in this room. It was a very special room. And you must know by now who stayed in that room. It was me and the ghoul friend gang. Now, I was very excited about this because this hotel was historic. It was beautiful. It was built for the elite. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel. I'm trying to find the right words to describe it. It was like the Gilded Age. It was just, I feel like it was supposed to be a like grand manor, but as a hotel instead of just a manor, so that everybody who wanted to live in luxury could for at least a night. The lobby was very grandeur. It had big centerpieces and mosaic floors, and this hotel was frequently used as a wedding venue because of its beauty. And again, the entire Ghoul Friends gang was there. Me, my husband, and Abora. Now this time, we brought some equipment. We did not just show up and hope the hotel would have some, because this was not that kind of place. This was a wedding venue. This was a historic hotel meant to be the glitz and glamour, so we brought our own. What we had brought was a spirit box, a black light flashlight, some candles, and some sage. We also decided that we would play a game. Me and Abora would play a game guessing the vibe of what we thought was going on there. We had decided that, especially since my husband did not want to play this game, he would research the history of the hotel and why it seemed to be haunted and who haunted it, and me and Abora would try to guess how many ghosts there were and who they were, and tried to guess their names and such, okay? Not only that, but there's another game that me and my husband play when we go to any hotel, and it's called, especially here in North America, okay, great game to play. It's called Find the Bible, because there's always a Bible hidden somewhere in a hotel, okay? That's just a side note. However, during this Find the Bible game, we never found one. There was not a Bible in this room, perhaps in this hotel, which, honestly, I'm okay with. Now that you know these things, we finally get to the hotel, and we immediately are overcome with goosebumps, with goose flesh, with chicken skin, whatever you may call it. The hairs on our neck were standing up, and I did feel the tingle in my spine, if you will, which is something that happens to me personally, I should say, when I feel like something's just a little off, the energy isn't quite right in a room. That's what used to happen when I would be hanging out at my house, which was haunted way back when. So our spidey senses are tingling, for lack of a better term. And as we unpack, we, are testing all of our gear. And my black light flashlight, immediately upon getting there, will not turn on. And I had tested it before we left, as well as the spirit box, to make sure, and changed out the batteries and everything. It would not turn on. So I click it a few times, it's still not turning on. I leave it on the bed, and we unpack a little more, and as I turn around, the flashlight turns on. Just a little weird. Maybe it's a technical malfunction. You never know. You never know. So we turn it off, and we go about our day. We had gotten some delicious Brazilian pizza, some pear pizza. If you've never had it, it's my favorite kind. And we explore the town during the daylight hours We explore, and we can't explore the hotel because there's actually a wedding there that evening. So instead, we explore the town and we find a little video game store that is also a movie store. And we rent a few scary movies to watch. Upon re-entering the hotel, we make our way down to the basement where they have a fabulous bar, and we have a few drinks. At this point, I'm kind of sober, so I had dessert instead. However, when I did ask for water, upon getting it and taking a sip, this water tasted disgusting. This water tasted like no water I have ever had before. And it was so bad that I could not even pretend to finish it. And that's going to be important because we quickly learned that all of the water, the tap, everything, all of the water tasted like this weird salty water with like urea. It smelled like cat urine for some reason. Not sure what's going on. The whole town smelled like that though. So it could be something in the water. No one else that was there seemed to feel that way, except for me and the ghoul gang. Now, as we made our way back up to the room after this very weird bar experience, we decided to delve right into our first night there. It was 11 p.m. and we popped in a movie to set the mood. We ended up popping in Insidious. And if you've never seen that movie, I will explain what I was seeing, because this is also where my first experience of the night happened. Now, my husband had went to the bathroom. No, Abora went to the bathroom, and my husband ended up going down the hall to get some water, some bottled water out of the vending machine, because we were all thirsty at this point and none of us could drink the water that they had provided. And as they were gone, I was sitting on the windowsill. We had a fantastic view from our hotel room. We were on the 3rd floor and we were on the corner of the building. So we had windows on 2 sides of the wall, or 2 walls of the room, I should say. And as I look out towards the window, or out the window, I can also see the reflection of the TV within the window. And I'm thinking, great, 2 birds with 1 stone, okay? I can watch this movie and I can look out the window. However, the beginning of this movie starts off very eerie. It basically focuses on this light fixture coming down from the ceiling, and as it moves towards the room and towards a window, it zooms in on the window, and in the window, in the darkness, on the TV, there's a face that appears, and this is all within the movie. And as I'm watching this scene, it's zooming in on the dark window and the face appears. However, I can confidently say, I thought right then and there, that doesn't look like the Black Bride. That doesn't look like the same face that you're supposed to see. And so I turn away from the window and look towards the TV, and I realize that the face in the movie has not shown up yet. So I have seen a face within the window. And I decide I must have imagined it, okay? I'm just being silly. I'm letting the night get the best of me already. However, I decide not to mention it to my husband or Abora, which I will regret later. So, me and Abora check in and touch base with each other about our vibe, and we decide the vibe of the ghost is giving femme. The vibe of the ghost is giving woman. And we break out our spirit box. So, I'm gonna take you through our setup. What we had was our spirit box, which is a box that basically flicks through radio channels extremely fast, to the point where you can't really make out voices. However, if something, let's say that you bring it to a ghost or something, is the ghost single? I don't think so. You just made me lose my spot. Now, the spirit box, we had tested the spirit box to make sure that it wasn't like we weren't gonna accidentally just hear some shit and be like, oh, look, it said this thing. And we had been testing it every day for like a week, and it wasn't saying anything. It was just static from the flipping channels. However, when we got there, it started to say things. And what we had done was we turned off the TV, we turned off all the lights in our room, and we lit one single candle. And we put it on the nightstand, and we gathered around the nightstand with 4 chairs, one for each of us, and one remained empty. We put the spirit box next to the candle, and we started the session. Now, there were some questions worth mentioning this time. While we did ask many, we did not get many responses. However, the ones that we did, I will name off for you now. Are we trespassing? And the spirit box said, no. My husband said, can you make it colder in here? And the spirit box said, I can touch you. Just like that, with that same inflection. And I got a weird feeling. I got that tingle in my spine, and I got this pressure in my head, and I kind of just blurted out during the session. I said, is your name like Sarah or Clara or something? No response. At this point, we are not getting many responses. However, my husband turns on the black light flashlight instead, because sometimes it is said that paranormal activity and paranormal creatures need electricity and can mess with electricity a lot easier than they could with, like a candle flame, which was why we had the candle flame out. Sometimes it is said, there's a superstition that if your candle flickers out of nowhere, you're not alone in the room. There's somebody there with you. So we turned on our black light, and as we were asking questions, our flashlight began to flicker in response to our questions. At this time, my husband also sees footprints with the black light that disappear down the hallway towards our door that leads outside of our room. And all of a sudden, there's no more activity. No more activity in our room. And at this point, it's 3 a.m. We've been doing this for 3 hours, asking questions and getting flickers and responses and seeing some things. Okay. Now at this point, as it is 3 a.m. and we hadn't been getting some activity in a while after seeing those footprints leave our room, we kind of give up and we head downstairs because Zabora wants to smoke one last cigarette before going to bed. And as we head back inside, we see that there is a part of the hotel that was restricted for the wedding that is now open, and it is open 24/7, which means we can go in there. So we decide we're gonna explore that area. In this area, there was a very large pipe organ, and as we made our way through this area, through a pair of double doors, we came across a smoking room, or what looked to be a past smoking room, a library, a fireplace, 2 chairs set in front of the fireplace with pamphlets and information about the hotel. And not only that, but hanging on the wall is the portrait of a woman. And as soon as I see her face, I point to her and I say, I saw her in the window. Now, I had no idea who she was. However, I then tell Abora and Scott, my husband, about the dream or the window experience that I had had. And they were like, well, why didn't you tell us about this? And I was like, well, I didn't really think it was, real, because I was looking at a TV screen through a window. But now that I can see her face, that is the face that I had seen. And we find out this woman is the woman who died in the room that we were staying in. And her name was Clara. We find this out from reading the pamphlet that we also found in this room. And it tells us about her life and about her favorite rooms and how she lived and why she stayed at the hotel for so long. So just to recap, we play the vibe game. We say the ghost is feminine. I ask her during Spirit Box if her name is Clara or Sarah, and I see her face in the window. And as soon as I see her portrait, I recognize her. I thought that was pretty insane. Now, after this, and after this crazy experience, we decide to go back upstairs and conduct another Spirit Box session at 3:15 a.m. We did not spend long down there. And this proved to be very productive as the Spirit Box started answering our questions. After we recognized and placed this woman where she was, she started to answer us. And we've gotten comfortable at this point. We've been spirit boxing, all night at this point. So once we started the session, we said, hey, you remember us? And the Spirit Box says almost immediately, we've done this before. And so we said, well, do you want to speak with us? And the box said, I'd appreciate it. Just like that. And we said, well, are you comfortable here? And the box said, yeah. And after that, my husband said, "Sorry, was that a lame question?" And the box said, "A little." You think I'm making this up, but I'm totally not. I have it all on video. So I asked the spirit, I said, "Where are you?" And this box said, "In the chair." In the chair that was empty, that we had left empty. And Abora decided to be just a little cheeky and said, "Hey, well, we're gonna be going to the store later. We're gonna go to the gift shop across the street. Do you want anything?" And the box said, "That'd be nice." And we were like, "Oh, this is crazy. Like, she wants something from the store. What should we get her?" And so we asked, "Well, what would you like?" And the box said, "Something holy." And my husband and I look at each other and we realize we never found the Bible in this room. There's nothing holy in this room. And so we ask, "Well, do you want a Bible?" And the box says yes. And this is all in quite fast succession. I'm not really paraphrasing when I tell you these questions. This happened one after another, after another, after another. So we say, "Well, what else can we do for you?" And all of a sudden, the box says, "Jump." Now at this point, we stop asking questions and we just kind of listen. We listen to the box go through its static. And Scott thinks he hears something. My husband thinks he hears something. And he says, "Did that just say salsa?" And we were like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Do you want a salsa? Do you want to dance?" And the box says, "No, I don't wanna." And so we're kind of like, okay, this is getting a little weird how it's answering so fast and so clear. And then we don't even ask a question and the box says, "Why do you hear me?" And we explain what's happening. We say, "Well, you must be standing near this box. You're sitting with us and this box can detect you." And we kind of explain to the spirit how the box works, and all of a sudden there's no more activity. There's absolutely nothing, just static for the rest of the night and for the rest of the time that we're there. We stayed 2 days at that hotel. And on the second night, we got absolutely nothing but static. We even made a spirit board out of our Brazilian pizza box and made a planchette out of a portable magnifying glass. And there was no activity. Not even a whisper from the spirit box. Nothing that could have been confused as a response. But I still think about that crazy spirit box session where that ghost showed me her face and then asked me to bring her a Bible because there wasn't one in the room. Her social battery ran out. Yeah. Whew, those were about a half hour each, weren't they? Man, I kind of want to do another one. Brazilian pizza is the best, but we don't use ghost pepper. I mean, we have a really good one that I think about constantly because I hate pears, but I love pear pizza. I think it's really, really good, and it's something that I've never had anywhere else. I didn't get the Bible, by the way. The gift shop that we went to was extremely overpriced, to the point where a small gnome figurine, like a ceramic gnome figurine, was $80, which was the scariest part of the entire experience. What makes it Brazilian style pizza? I don't know. It's shaped like a football, and it's really good. But I just know that the brand of pizza is a Brazilian brand. Did my pizza have ghost peppers? No, it had pine nuts, dill, and gorgonzola, and pears. Meat, pear, and gorgonzola. Hell yeah, it's so good. It's so good. $80 is crazy. Yeah. I'm Brazilian. I can answer. It's good. Yeah. It really is, though. For $80, that gnome better make me a Brazilian pizza. I'm saying, why was the gnome $80? I didn't understand. I even saw like a really nice cardigan there, and I was like, oh, I really want to buy this. By the way, it was polyester. Okay, it wasn't even like a natural thing, and it was still fucking $300. I was like, I could make this at home, so maybe I will. It's insane. They were, why were they selling a gnome? They were a Scandinavian gift shop. So they had a bunch of like Scandinavian knickknacks and other Scandinavian gifts that you might find at a gift shop. We almost bought like a statue of the Virgin Mary for the ghost, but it was like $250 for like a 3-inch statue. It was insane. As a Scandinavian, I'm interested. Yeah. Should I tell one more? Should I tell one more story? I'm trying to think of another one that I can tell, but it's not going to be related to any hotels. Unfortunately, it will not be related to any hotels. We need to know more about this gnome. Yeah. If I have the energy, I have the energy. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. I appreciate you dearly. Okay, let's see. So, okay. There was one that I mentioned yesterday on stream, on karaoke stream, that I think that I can tell you guys. And I told you guys that you were probably gonna have to get really cool with a bunch of stuff really fast, so I hope you're ready to get really cool with a bunch of stuff really fast. And I'll probably tell this story in more detail another time. I like to write out bullet points of my stories to kind of keep me organized, and this one has a lot of different moving parts. A lot of different moving parts to it. So I guess we're just gonna jump into that one, and you guys are gonna love it. I think you're gonna really like it. Okay, so this is the story of the most recent ghost experience that I had living in my own home. And I don't live there anymore, but this was while I was working on my latest original song called Sunrise, while I was actually producing that song. So where to start on this? Okay, let me think about it for just a second. You guys just talk to me and keep me on track while I'm thinking about this. Let me write it out a little bit, keep myself organized. So this was when I was still living with Abora as well. Oh, this has so many moving fucking parts. There's gonna be like 3 times I have to like sidetrack the story just to really explain to you why a detail is important. Here, let me do this. Hearing those 2 stories, how did you feel? How did you feel to about the stories that I've already told today? Do you think that I'm crazy, or are you just a little spooked? It's spelled Abora? No, it's A-B-O-R-A, but no H. Bring out paint to help tell the story. I don't know about that. Real stories are the best ones. I agree. Anybody can just tell you a tall tale, you know, but it's the personalization of saying, hey, this happened to me, to be one that truly touches your soul and makes you think about it for longer. The fact that I know you wouldn't be making this up makes it scarier. I mean, yeah, I'm real good at telling stories that I've already experienced, but I'm shit at making them up. I'm real fucking bad at it. But I learned this trick in... So what I'm doing right now is I'm just putting bullet points for what happened, which is something that I learned in public speaking. Was it made you more collected with your thoughts especially when reciting something that you, or like recalling memory, I should say, which obviously I'm still shit at, but when it comes to stories, I think it really helps to keep me on track, to have little bullet points that I can refer back to if I kind of lose my train of thought. Honestly, was listening in the shower and I was vividly imagining being in those scenarios. Yeah, enjoy hearing the stories regardless of not believing in ghosts. Thank you. Good. Yeah, I can't wait to do it again. I really want to go to another hotel. Maybe I will break out like Clip Studio Paint for this one, just for a couple scenes. A dream journal? I never wake up fast enough to write in a journal. Oh, I forgot about some of this. This is going to be a crazy ass story, you guys. I'm sorry to keep you waiting, but I really want to make sure to get all the details in there for you, because this one is really fucked up. Really fucked up. In a good way. Not like in a way that you're like, oh, I can't listen to this anymore, but it was just an insane experience for me. You tweet your dreams immediately if they're interesting. That's brave. My dreams are really like weird and usually like embarrassing. Tend to only remember nightmares. I love having nightmares. Every time I have a nightmare, I wake up in a great mood because I'm like, wow, look at how hard I was fighting to stay alive. God, I love being alive. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wait. It's an interesting way to look at nightmares. I agree. You never know how you're going to act until you're in danger, and I feel like your dreams are so primal sometimes. That's just how you would react. Like you're not thinking with logic in your dreams, you know. You're just kind of reacting to the things around you. So when they're terrifying, you can see how you would react. You're never just gonna lay down and be like, I guess I'm gonna die here, you know? You get precognitive dreams. That's crazy. Okay, we're almost there, I promise. Okay. This was literally all I was doing before stream, was bullet points and bullet points and bullet points. Last nightmare was me in bed and a giant floating clump of organs chilling in my room. Then a wraith woke me up screaming, "They're all dead," referring to the organs. That's crazy. I don't have a lot of nightmares, but lately they are always ending up with me being buried alive. Are your blankets really heavy? Do you sleep with anything over your face? I wonder why that might be. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it. You've got 3 cats. Might be onto something. Yeah, if they're, you know, if they're sitting on you while you're sleeping, laying on you, that could be it. Your body might be trying to tell you something. Okay. Okay, this is gonna be a weird fucking story. So you're gonna have to bear with me, okay? Now, I will start by saying I have a lot of witchy friends, okay? And as such, I'm a little witchy myself. Obviously, I'm a cryptid, I deal with souls. Of course, I'm a little witchy. Now, one friend that is a mutual friend that has been, you know, in mine and especially Abora's life for a long time. His name is Kuna, and he was never really into magic and witchcraft and stuff like that. However, he suddenly gets very into magic and witchcraft, specifically blood magic. And one thing that you must know about blood magic is, well, first off, it's something that I would never do. And second off, it's because it is extremely strong. And somebody who is not really experienced with magic has no business touching it, okay? No business doing blood magic. because basically the what am I trying to say? Can you see how different this one is put together, because I'm stumbling so much? The thought behind it is, when you put your parts of yourself into your magic, your hair, your spit, your blood, depending on what you put into your magic and what you use and the tools that you use, it can make it a lot more potent. So if you are inexperienced and you are putting in your body parts and bodily fluids into your magic, that could make the mistake more catastrophic if you don't know what you're doing. So as Kuna was getting into this magic, he came over one day in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. And this was not uncommon. This happened a lot, as my husband and Abora were both night shift people, and I was a morning shift person. So I was already asleep at this point. However, they like met up often and hung out and played video games until like 6-7 in the morning, when I would wake up to go to work. So as I was asleep, Kuna came over as usual, as he usually does, and he said to them, "Hey, you know, I really want to do a protection spell for your house, and I'm really into sigils, and I think it would just be really nice, and it would make me feel better, and I hope it would make you feel safer if we did a protection spell." So he had them, he, you know, drew on a sigil, a protection sigil, and had them make an offering, or like a sacrifice, I guess, to kind of make themselves relevant within the spell. And the terms of the spell that were set, and you don't need to know a whole lot about magic, I'm just gonna be fucking talking about it, but the terms of the spell that were set was, if somebody is not welcome here anymore, we hope that this spell makes them uncomfortable and makes them sick and makes them want to leave. And I think there was like spit and hair and some of Kuna's blood involved in this. Now, the one person that was not involved in this spell was me, which would later become a problem. Now, this happened in mid-September, because it started the day I got my new job. So, as I come back actually from one of my first days at my new job, I am in bed and I am laying next to my husband, and I'm wide awake because I feel kind of sick out of nowhere. And as I'm lying there just trying to fall asleep, all of a sudden I get this horrible urge to puke. It was so sudden and so bad, and I didn't even think I would make it to the bathroom. I opened my eyes as I was laying on my right side, and as I opened my eyes, I didn't move my head yet, but I could see that there was somebody within my peripheral vision staring me right in the face. From the side of my head, okay? Not right in front of my face. From the side of my head, I could see their forehead and their eyes staring me in the face. And as I roll over, they also stay within my peripheral as I'm like rolling over from my back to my left side to try and puke over the bed. But as I get to my left side, this person's face, these eyes that I see disappear, and all of a sudden, so does this need to puke. So this was this first instance where I was like, you know, I haven't seen or felt like that in a while. I hope nothing bad happens next. But after this incident, directly after this incident, and this was the weirdest shit that really confirmed that to me that something was going on. By the way, all of this Kuna protection magic stuff I had no idea about at this time, okay? So, I am sitting there the next day, and I think it's my day off, but Abora goes to work and gets in a horrible car crash. One where she was T-boned and her entire car was totaled. And it was awful. She was completely fine. The other driver was completely fine, but her car was 100% totaled. That very same day, my husband turns on his car to try and leave for work, and his engine floods with oil or something, but basically the engine is totaled and his entire car gets totaled, okay? The same day. So he uses my car to go to work, and at this time he was doing a job that required him to be driving a lot, and he comes home that night and he's like, something's weird with your car. And I'm like, okay. I take my car to the shop, and as I'm driving there, the entire wheel is pulling to the left, and one of my tires isn't like moving on the ground. So I'm basically dragging one tire along as it's in like brake, as all my other tires are spinning. And I take it to the shop, and they tell me, hey, you can't drive this car. It's basically totaled because the entire frame of the car underneath has snapped in half. So, within the same 24-hour period, all 3 of our household cars were totaled. I'm so not fucking kidding. This put all of us in a really bad spot for a while. Now, as this is happening, thankfully we have jobs that are nearby. So we figure it out. And as we do, I know it's getting really crazy, right? So I will tell you about the next set of things to happen, okay? I start trying to work on a new track called Sunrise. And as I'm sitting in my studio, which is in my house, working on it, I guess I should tell you about the setup of this room, okay? This room, as you enter the door, is kind of diagonal. So it's a square room, but as you enter through the door, the first thing you see is basically the other end, the other corner of the room, the opposite corner of the room. And in that corner was my desk. So my chair and me, my body, everything is facing, I have my back to the door, okay? The one light that I have is a central light right in the middle of the room. So as you can imagine, my shadow falls on the desk in front of me whenever I'm sitting at my desk. Okay, do you guys know where this is going? So, as I am working on Sunrise, I'm sitting there at the desk, typing away, clicking away, when all of a sudden I see my shadow get overtaken by another shadow, as if somebody was coming up from behind me. And I thought I was being slick. I thought I was being clever. I thought to myself, my husband's home early from work and he really thinks that he can sneak up on me when I can clearly see his fucking shadow right there. So I rip my headphones off and I whirl around to be met with absolutely no one in the room, door closed. And this sets me on edge. My hair on the back of my neck has completely stood up. I had to leave the room at that point. I opened all of the doors to my house, searching for anyone that might be there, my roommate, anyone, and no one was there. I was completely alone in the house. Now that really set me on edge. And after this, that same day actually, my older sister calls me on the phone, which my older sister and I are obviously very close. However, we don't really hit each other up unless, something really important is happening, I guess. But she calls me and I'm like, what's going on? How are you? And she says to me, Lilith, I had a really concerning dream about you. And I was like, oh my God, what is it? And she said to me, I had a nightmare that there was something in your house. And again, the goosebumps, the hair on the back of my neck stood up at attention, erect, if you will, with fear. And this was because this was not the first time that my sisters and I have had this kind of connection. Most of our interactions are very friendly, but if we have dreams about each other, we just have to tell each other because that usually means something. And she said, she kept saying, I know that you're not Catholic. And I told her about everything that was going on and everything that had happened so far. And she said, listen, I know you're not Catholic, but I really, really think that you should talk to a priest. And I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to do that. And she was like, listen, I know that you look the way that you do, being a cryptid and all, and I know that your name is Lilith, which is, kind of like a demon, but I'll find you, as long as you don't introduce yourself and say your name to this priest, I can find you one that's kind of chill, and he'll hear you out, and he'll perform an exorcism for you. And I was like, no. Oh God. After this, it just the bad vibes were there, and I think 3 weeks later she had finally convinced me to make at least a visit with a priest to like tell him what's been going on, and I really didn't want to, but after everything that had happened, and even my husband was kind of like, you know, this is getting a little weird. You know, the cats are on the fritz and all this stuff is going on. And so I did it. I went and I saw a priest. And he kind of told me about what was going on, and he's like, you know, your older sister mentioned that you weren't part of the church anymore. And I was like, that is correct. To be frank with you, I did not want to come here and speak with you. And he's like, well, tell me how this happened. And I had to be like, my friend does witchcraft with blood magic. And he honestly didn't even bat an eye, and he was kind of like, well, yeah, that'll do it. I'll come the day after Halloween. How does that sound? And we'll do a little thing. And I'm like, well, I don't know if we should do that because you know, I'm not really religious like that, and my husband and my roommate are also very much not religious like that. And he was like, that's okay, I'm not doing it for like that reason. I'm doing this to like get whatever's in your house out of there. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's fair. So he came over November 1st and he did a little exorcism. Turn your lights on if you need to, but turn them off if you are brave enough to hear the rest of this story. Now, he did his exorcism, and for a while things had calmed down, except for my husband being insistent that in the wee hours of the morning, he said he could hear somebody walking around our hallway. And this is important because the way that our house is set up, or was set up, was you had kind of like a wraparound kitchen living room situation, and the kitchen had a loose tile that would make this little clacking sound whenever it was stepped on, because part of it didn't have any like grout or like adhesive underneath it, so it was kind of floating there. So when you stepped on it, it would make a little ceramic clacking sound. And that was the tile that led to the hallway, and the hallway led to both the basement, my room, and my studio. So as he would be in the living room playing video games at 3, 4, 5 in the morning, he could hear that tile being stepped on, and then the hardwood floor squeaking around, and he would look to his left and see little lady sitting there on the couch, and he'd look to his right and see little man sitting there on the couch. So he could easily say that it was not the cats, and it wasn't the wind, and it wasn't our roommate, because he could see into the hallway. It was very open, but he could still hear the footsteps and the tile and the wood from the hardwood floors squeaking and creaking as somebody crept around our hallway while I was sleeping. Now, all of a sudden in the springtime, I get aggressively sick. Aggressively. To the point where I'm going to the doctors and they can't tell me what's wrong. And they can't treat it because they're not sure what it is. And it was really, really bad. I was sick for 3 days before, Abora had casually mentioned that Kuna had put a protection spell on the house a while back. And I kind of did a double take, and I was like, huh? What are you talking about? And again, she says, well, yeah, Kuna came over one day and did a little blood magic and put a really sweet protection spell on our house. And I was like, okay, interesting. Why didn't I know about that? And it's not like, you know, Abora could have known, or if my husband could have known, because, you know, we're not crazy into magic, okay? We're just kind of like dabble in it, I guess. But I start doing some research, and this is when I learn about, you know, blood magic being very powerful. And I learned that when you are doing a protection spell on your house, everyone that occupies the house must be present for it. Otherwise, they can be seen as an intruder. And it kind of makes sense to me in that moment. I hit up Kuna and I'm like, hey, I heard that you put a protection spell on our house. And he was like, yeah. And I said, well, what were the terms of the spell? And he mentioned that you're supposed to make them want to leave and make them uncomfortable and make them sick even. And it kind of clicked in my head, like, oh my God, was I accidentally cursed? And so I said, well, I'm really sorry, but I need to get rid of this spell. How do I get rid of it? And he said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You should just be able to find it and burn it, and that should be that. So I found the spell, the sigil, piece of paper. It was still where they had put it. And I had to call up my little sister and be like, hey, you have to help me. You have to help me with this thing. I have to do an exorcism spell, and I'm not sure that I can do it by myself. And I think I found the source of all this stuff that's happening to me. And she was like, okay, I'll come right over. And we performed some sort of exorcism spell that I really won't get into, but it involved like eggshells, we crushed up some eggshells and made a circle around our house, just because it's more eco-friendly than salt, and it does the same thing. But we burned the sigil, and we said a few words, and we made our intentions clear that nothing should be in our house by the time I go back inside, basically. And it worked. The activity stopped altogether, and even the next day, I was completely better from my sickness. No more sickness. And that is what really, I guess it wasn't as much of a ghost story as a cautionary tale, that you should not meddle with things that you don't truly know what you're dealing with. And that doesn't just include Kuna, that includes me and Abora and my husband as well. Just do your research and stuff. That's really the end of the tale. That I haven't had an experience since, especially not in my own home. But that's a very intimate look into my life, you guys. I hope that you don't mind the very personal story. That's one that I was excited to tell within a more put together setting. But yeah, that's that story. That's the most recent paranormal thing that was put in my space instead of me traveling to that space. What'd you think? Do you like it? Did it give you chills? Did it give you scary things? Don't deal with demons, don't dabble in black magic unless you're prepared. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm glad I'm okay too, but it is a great cautionary tale. Sounds like a crazy experience. It was really, really weird, especially when all of our cars got totaled on the same day. That really fucked me up. I was like, there's no fucking way that that's just a coincidence. And I can't believe I went to a fucking Catholic priest, dude. What? I have lots of imagery in my head right now. Yeah. The shadow, the face. Yeah. Yeah, it was very crazy. And especially when my husband was like, hey, I'm hearing shit around the house and it's like not normal and I can't explain it. I'm like, oh shit, my skeptic husband that does not believe in the paranormal is telling me that there's paranormal shit going on around our house. It really fucked me up. But Catholics know their stuff. I mean, I still had to do a bunch after that to get it out of the house, but he did make it calm down, I guess. It's kind of funny how chill the priest was. Yeah, he never did know my name though either. But he was like, yeah, well, you know, magic is that's kind of what it does. And I'm like, listen, it wasn't me, man. It wasn't me. And he's like, maybe stop hanging out with that person. I'm like, I'm really gonna give him a good fucking talking to. God damn it, it's hard to find good necromancers anymore. What the fuck? Ghosts are one thing. Demons, though? Do you think it was a demon? Do you think so? Definitely not a ghost, I suppose. I had to call Marin. Yeah. Never open a door unless you know how to close it. Yeah. This is why I believe in ghosts. Hey, me too. Semi-helpful, semi-useless priest. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like if my situation was a really spicy bowl of soup, he put a little baking soda in there to like ease the spice. And then it was still too spicy, you know, and then I had to be like, fine, I'll do the rest myself and neutralize the spice. I don't fucking know. At least he was cool about it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I love talking about this kind of thing with people because everybody, there are so many different answers that people have for this. Is it a demon? Is it some kind of being? Is it something, some sort of fae that was accidentally summoned? And it's very interesting to have this kind of conversation with you guys. It's very interesting to me. It could be a lesser demon. I want to know which one, you know? Tulpa, maybe. Aren't tulpas something that you have to believe in and lots of people believe in? If a friend cost me 3 cars, I'd probably stop being friends with them. Oh God, that's savage. I forgave him. He didn't know what he was doing. He fucking knows now though. Love that comparison. Good. Yes, I am known for my analogies. Soup related analogies. My first, I read that one already. Would you ever let us submit our own ghost stories for you to read on stream? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes, I would. Maybe I'll make like I'll make a channel in the Discord for submitting ghost stories, but just be as detailed as possible and I'll read it out loud. I'll pick my favorites and I'll read them. Supernatural experiences are so interesting. Even when I was actively dabbling in Wiccan stuff, I never had any experience. I believe in magic, but I've never seen it. I mean, hang out with the wrong fucking people, I guess, and you'll accidentally get cursed one day. In my opinion, it's bad energy. I mean, you're probably right. You might be right. I will always remember Christopher Lee getting deadly serious when responding to a question about magic because he used to be into occult stuff. Yeah, he's also the inspiration for James Bond. Christopher Lee's cool as hell. Fae are classically known as home protectors, but there's no reason that Fae and demons couldn't be the same creatures. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's the interesting part, is that a lot of things with folklore concede and like cross over and bleed into other things from religions. And it might just very well be that we have different names for the same beings. Different looks for the same beings. Creepy stuff out there, y'all. Creepy stuff. Creepy crawlies. Just make sure that you burn some sage tonight, and every once in a while you look at your mirrors and look at your windows and look at your doors and you say, nothing's allowed here. You aren't welcome here, you know. That's something that I do every time I go to a haunted house or like a haunted hotel as well. I have to stand there outside of my car before getting in and say, thank you for the experience. I really appreciated getting to know you, but you cannot come home with me. Do not follow me home because you will not be welcome there and you will not be able to enter. It's all about intention, and that's what I've learned. That is what I have learned. I've never had any paranormal experiences personally, but I like hearing you talk about it. Very eerie, comfy vibes. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I am definitely not a fae. Definitely not. Sage and incense give me heavy headaches. Curse you, formaldehyde. I mean, you don't need sage necessarily. Crush up some eggshells. Use it like the salt that you would spread. Throw a bit of salt over your shoulder. Yeah. These little things that we do, we don't realize that they've come from witchcraft. Like blowing out a candle for your birthday. Witchcraft. That's witchcraft. It is. I'm not a fae, I assure you. Please, give me your name. No reason. I'm always making jokes and just having general good energy around me. Also, sorry if I keep making jokes while you're telling stories. Hey, I didn't mind. That's my job, but I didn't mind. When I'm the one being freaky, feel free to tell jokes, you know? I'm here for the good energy. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed those stories. That last one went pretty long, so at least I hope it did. I'll really go into detail about it some other time too. Maybe we'll do a member stream about it or something. All this talk makes me want to read the Ars Goetia. Yeah, I looked for that book for a really long time. Those books are hard to fucking find. I went to the largest library in Oregon. It's literally a block long library, and they were like, oh, we had one, but it was $200 and we sold it and we haven't seen any more. And I'm like, fuck, what do you mean? I'm glad you guys liked it. I really, really am. Another kind of short stream, I guess. I ran out of details too fast, so I apologize for that, but thank you for thinking that I am a good storyteller. I do appreciate that. Yeah, those books are expensive, I'm telling you. But they're considered rare, I guess. I'm glad I could at least listen to this last story, and seemingly it was the wildest one. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Because it wasn't just me being like, hee, talking to this spirit box. It was me, like, not trying to establish any kind of experience or communication and getting fucking dunked on by some bad thing. I told that to a coworker once. He was a really, really cool guy. He has 2 kids and a wife and stuff, and he celebrates Yule, just like me. And when I told him this story, he was like, oh my god, somebody let this dark creature into your house, and he like said the name of it and everything, and I was like, whoa, how do you just like know what that is and stuff? Like, he was so chill about it. Like, he was just like, oh yeah, that fucking sucks, that's what this was. I'm like, wow. Most times when I tell a grown man that, they're kind of like, yo, whatever, man. That didn't happen or something. I don't know. I'm a streaming speed runner. I guess so. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I promise we'll yap for a little while. When we go to music festivals, sometimes the group burns Paulo Santo in the circle, and we all vocally set intentions for the weekend. Yeah, I mean, that's all you need is to set some intentions. Maybe bring a bay leaf and write something on it or something. Brother on first name basis with the spook. Yeah. Honestly, if I had known him at the time it was going on, he probably would have gotten rid of it for me. I believe it. You've had a similar experience? I want to hear it. Give me just 1 second. I'm getting a call from the beyond, and I will be back. I want to hear about it, okay? Share some experiences with me. Okay, I'm back. Oh yeah, you met Pazuzu. We play poker on Fridays. Not even. Why did I just dream about me and my brother-in-laws building a wooden platform for one of their tractors? It took over an hour, and he doesn't even have a tractor. I don't know. I still can't get over first name basis with the spook. Apparently, like, at least in like Catholicism, if you can name the demon, you can control him, which might be why the Ars Goetia was made in the first place, but you never know. Will we ever know? Will I pay $200 to find out? Maybe if I can ever come across a physical copy, like a nice hardcover fucking copy. Gotta go. Thank you for the stream. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. I would assume everyone has at least one scary story they could never explain. I would hope so. Everybody I've talked to does. Like, literally everybody that I've ever talked to has that. Why not? Aren't there ways to get in the 7 seas? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. Let's go over to the other one. Give me 1 second. Boop, boop. There it is. Now that we're just having silly chat time. My uncle and his friends have a paranormal story. I want to hear it. I'm glad you love being here, truly. I just want... I mean, someday I hope that I'll be a ghost. Like, if I have to choose between moving on or being a ghost, I think I might be a ghost. When's your first 12+ hour stream? Great fucking question. Do people do those? Oh my god. What would we do? Ooh, I know what we would do. We would watch the entire Lord of the Rings, not just the trilogy, but Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies, one after another. And I've heard that that's like the extended edition, I think is like something like 19 hours. I'd be down to do that, but we would have to prepare and eat breakfast, second breakfast, 11s, luncheon, dinners, all of them, okay? I want to eat like a hobbit for the entire fucking thing, okay? Oh, I would so do that too. I fucking would. There was a time when, and I still want to do this, but there was a time when I wanted to throw a potluck. And like project onto a screen outside, like during the night, of the entire trilogy. And it would be a potluck, and the price of admission to enter my Hobbit party potluck would be 1 main course and 2 sides for any of the motherfucking times of eating, any of the meal times, you know. And costumes would be encouraged, and we would have like lawn archery set up and a big paper mache smog head that breathes fucking fire or just fog maybe. And I wanted to hide a little Frodo action figure somewhere in the foliage around my home. And the person who found it and gave it to me would get the 1 ring, and we bought the 1 ring for it. Like it was gonna be like a whole 3-day festival ass experience with a lot of food. And I don't know why it never happened. I mean, I know why it never happened, because I never had my own house. But damn, a potluck would be so much fun. We should do that. 12-hour stream. Yeah. They were helped in town by an old woman and even stayed at her house, but when they got up the next day, they asked around to say thank you to her, but people freaked out because the woman had passed. Ooh, what a helpful young woman. I mean, old woman ghost. If I ever get married, my spouse and I are getting matching one ring wedding rings. Try saying that 5 times fast. I found out I'm getting a Hobbit-related cafe in my town soon. What the fuck? I want that. I want that. I have a little plaque in my kitchen that lists all the Hobbit meal times. I fucking love... I used to work at a restaurant that did like themed menus, and I kept saying like we should do Lord of the Rings one, we should do it. And one day after a really long shift, we were all drinking wine and hanging out, and we just kind of started equating each other and being like, oh, okay, you would be a hobbit and you would be an elf, and that would be Aragorn, and oh, that's Gollum, you know. It was really, really cute. If I ever found out, okay, all right, love hobbits, good, we should watch it. That would be a good 12-hour stream. Aren't I part hobbit? You're just saying that because I'm short, aren't you? You're just saying that because I'm short and I like to eat all the time. Maybe I am part hobbit, who knows? Probably never gonna get married, but I want a replica One Ring. You don't need to be married to wear a ring, do it. It's me, I'm Gollum. Oh god. Wouldn't it just be so much fun, though? Like, okay, first off, for this party, I wanted to make breakfast and second breakfast, but instead of using like chicken eggs, I wanted to do it with quail eggs so that everything was super tiny. Like all the food could be really tiny because a hobbit is making it, you know? And then you could eat more because everything is tiny. Please, somebody tell me I'm a genius. That sounds so cute. I know! Time-sensitive question. Should I animate or make a fully rendered piece? Animate. I don't know. What are we talking about? Genius as fuck? Thank you, yes! I've never had any experiences with outside forces, but my family's always had minor events like premonitions or psychic links regarding danger or bad things happening. God, that is just insane, right? That would really fuck me up. My friend one time had a dream that her aunt broke her arm and then sped away to the hospital in a red car, and the next day that exact thing happened. It's so crazy when that happens. That's why whenever my sisters call me and tell me that they had a dream about me, or I have a dream about them, I call them and I tell them about it, just in case. Yeah, you'd eat a hobbit? I mean... 100 Gex animations. What is that? What is a Gex? Somebody, please educate me. I think you mentioned you used to be able to feel people around you like you couldn't be snuck up on, and I had exactly that same experience as a kid. Yeah! Thank you for remembering that. Yes. That was absolutely a thing. It's the same tingly feeling I get now that when I, like, feel presences in rooms that I could be completely alone in. Some crazy shit. Some crazy shit. We'll be doing a lot. We'll be doing a lot very soon. I can't wait. We're gonna have like a lovely horror watch party. If you haven't seen it yet, there's a members poll to choose what movie we watch next. It's a choice between 4, and the 3 that are not picked will be recycled into a poll for the week after. We're gonna start doing weekly watch parties, weekly horror watch parties. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be lovely. Lilith, are you sure you don't have a guardian spirit of some sort? Oh, you know what? Here's the thing. Let's go ahead and turn this back on and shut that shit off. So, I do have a story about that, okay? Am I just gonna tell you all my stories all at once? That'd be so boring. Cause then what am I gonna tell like next week or the week after? Ugh. Are you guys gonna be okay with hearing the same stories over and fucking over again? Oops, all the stories. Yeah. I think many people won't talk about these things because it's hard to prove that you aren't crazy. I mean, that's true. But we already know that I'm kind of crazy. That's my whole deal. That's my whole deal. Thank you for the gifted memberships. It's extremely generous of you. Extremely generous of you. Hank Tholomew. Hank Tholomew Hill? Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, I have to save some of the stories. So I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to answer that question right now. But know that, ask me again next week. I'm sure you'll have another experience or two by next week. No. I do, okay, here's the thing though. I do want to go ghost hunting again, and it would be so much fun to live stream during that, maybe. Maybe just a little. Wouldn't that be something? The way I see it, you're giving 50 people inside knowledge. And there'll be new people in the future. Oh, that's so true though. God, that's so true. I'm thinking so small, and you're thinking so big. You're very right. You're very right. But I want to entertain you guys still, even with those new people. We should have a section for the gift Discord channel to post our real life scary stories. I will make one. I will make one for you. Maybe I'll do it right now. On stream. I'll make that. Okay, give me 1 second. Create channel. What should we call it? Paranormal stories. Paranormal shit. Let's do that. Create. There. Now you have one. Live ghost hunt. Yeah. Lilith ghost hunting. POV. POV. Honestly, it probably wouldn't be that crazy, especially if I'm live streaming, if I'm talking to you guys. But I'll do it anyway. But we'll just set the mood ourselves, and we'll be very spooky, and maybe we'll even we'll let you guys ask some questions to the ghosts. The paranormal shit channel is now active in Discord, by the way. If you have any stories that you'd like to share or you'd like me to read, please post them in there, and then I will. Chat asks if they're single. In before chat asks. Oh god. There they go. There they go. Gifts are cool. Never got any, sadly. I'm sorry, man. I already know my first question. Ask how much it can bench. Nothing, you weenie. Come on. It's a ghost. Super chats are active now. That is correct. I think everything is set up. Everything is set. I think I finally did it. I think there's new things in there too. New emojis. I don't know if they're active for everyone because they're not for me, but just know I uploaded all of the emojis that we made, and I will have to make some more now because I really did not expect such a huge wave of support from you guys for for memberships. That is still very lovely. Thank you so much. First question for the ghost. Pineapple on pizza. God damn it. Hello, Ethel. I know you died in 1860, but how do you feel about pineapple on pizza? Is it always a ghost? Couldn't it be something else like a fae or entity? Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps. I'm a quarter of the way to 3K. Huh? I have never in my life have I experienced support like that. That's crazy. Do you guys know how long it took me to get 500 followers on Instagram? Because it was 5 years. 5 years. And now I have more than I could have ever hoped for. And maybe I'll get more, even more. We're trying to get 10K before the end of the year. It's January. Let's start off strong. 100 Gex are 2 people who make some good music. Oh, okay. That's what you're saying. Ethel gonna clap back with way more cursed pizzas. Yeah, for real. Chat remembers the 3K. Whoa, Blake, thank you. Thank you for the super. Thank you. Man, we're gonna skyrocket you to fame and infamy. Ah! Where's my blushing face? Damn it, I don't have one yet. Blake, thank you so much for the super. I appreciate you. Play Phasmophobia in real life and try to figure out what type of ghost it is. If I get the money, I will like buy all of the things for it. But maybe we should play Phasmophobia sometime. Ooh, I'll make a fool of myself. Do gifts work yet? Yes, they do. I believe so. You gave us butts. We give you support. Yeah. Nothing like a fucking fat ass. You know what I'm talking about? Social media grind is real. Yeah, I really used to hate it. I still don't really appreciate the content creation for the sake of content thing. GIF seems to be bugged a bit. Damn, that sucks. Can we play Phasmophobia? Yes, we will. I've just never played it before because it scares me. Of all the, I can go ghost hunting in real life, but if I know I'm gonna see a ghost like you will in Phasmophobia, oh, it freaks me out. I don't know what it is. Something primal. Yo, thank you, Mini Moon. I appreciate you. We can send super chats now. Let's go. Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I've heard it's a really fun game, and I think I've said this before, but there was one guy that I played that game with. Maybe I'll hit him up. I haven't talked to him in a few years, but there was one guy that I played the game with, and he was so fucking funny that I wasn't scared anymore. He is so fucking funny. Oh my god, I think he might be a streamer too. Maybe I will hit him up. Lilith just playing a bunch of horror games. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. Boo. Oh my god, you're so scary. Whoa. Thank you so much for the super. Thank you. Thank you for becoming a Lost Soul Scarecrow. 8515. 8,515. It's so fun and intense sometimes. I know. It's crazy. Defeated a demon but scared of a video game. You underestimate yourself. Oh my god, you're kind of fucking right though. There was something about how you could use your mic, and when you're calling out to it and being like, where are you, that's something that like brought up a fear with me, being little and saying that kind of shit in my own house to find out where things were. I think it just like brought up some crazy, I don't want to say trauma because it's not really trauma, but it like it reminded me of why I don't do that, because when you call out to things that might not be there, you can invite things that will come through. You know what I'm saying? So it made me scared to play that game because I'm like, I don't really want to do that in my own house. But it's just a game. Defeated a demon. Oh, I just read that. Oh yeah. Will be your meat shield so you stay alive. You're not meat. You're my little souls. I have to keep you safe. Too spooky, Ben. Yeah, Ben, that was so scary. So scary, Ben. Thank you for the supa, though. Lots of great horror games out there now. I know. I really want to play. So my goals are to play Haunting Ground at the end of this week. And then I really want to, I don't know if it's going to be the next week, but I would like to start Reanimal soon. I would also like to play the Mortuary's Assistant. I want to play Me-Side or Me-Side or whatever that game is called. Uncomfy memes? Uncomfy memes? I don't really know what you're saying there. I'm sorry. Uncomfy memberships? Meme. Just say psych after and it's all good. You're right. You're right. Haven't played Phasmos in a while. They changed a lot, if I remember correctly. Probably. I heard that there's like new ghosts and shit. Pink Supa jump scare, yeah. We'll just throw our dumpies at the ghosts. Yeah. An unwanted spirit, the guest that never leaves. Yeah. I played the OG Alan Wake for my first horror game this past week. I've never played that. What is that? Yeah, what is that? How is that pronounced? Me-side? My side? Me-side? Me-side? What is it? The waifu simulator? Yeah, it looks cool. I don't know. It looks like it might be scary. PT PlayStation game is awesome. Yeah, you mean the playable trailer for Silent Hills? Is that what you're talking about? Because I have a lot to say about that. We were really robbed from a great fucking franchise because... What is it? Fucking Capcom or whoever owned Silent Hills or Silent Hill before Kojima was a huge fucking asshole, and they ruined the entire franchise after the third or fourth game for Silent Hill. And we were about to get the comeback of the century, and then they wanted to fuck it up. Man, Me-Side. Okay, all right. Sorry, I just went off on a tangent there. Yeah, PT set a new standard for that. Was like the first playable trailer for a video game, and now that's like a standard, you know, like that's what we do now to show off our video games. It's crazy. It's crazy. That pushed boundaries. Cursed Digicam is the next hot horror game. What is that? Is that like Digimon? I want that. I want to play that. Konami are legit the worst company alive, but also basically a front for the Yakuza. Huh? What? What? That's crazy. I still love the conspiracy theories that exist around PT. Yeah. I'm writing that down. Cursed Digicam. I wanna... As in digital camera. Oh, almost like Fatal Frame, maybe? Alan Wake enemies are weak to light, so you need to aim your flashlight at them before you are able to kill them. Okay, that reminds me of a game that I really want to play. I played it once with my best friend, and my husband won't play it with me, which is fine because we need 2 computers anyway, and we don't have that. We're poor. But there's a game called, oh fuck, what's it called? It's still on my computer and I'm still searching for somebody that will play it with me. It's called Stay Close. And it's about, you're like, I haven't even gotten that far in the game because no one will fucking play it with me, man. But, you're basically, you have a flashlight and that's all that you have. And there are 3 different types of enemies. You have to, there's an enemy where they come at you unless you're pointing the light on them and then they freeze. Or there's an enemy that freezes until you point your light at them, and then they move, if that makes sense. And then there's one more enemy that basically, if it hears you, if you're like running or jogging or doing anything other than sneaking, it will run directly towards you. And it doesn't matter if you shine your light on it or not. And it was spooky and it looked weird and I really liked it, and no one would play it with me, so maybe it wasn't a very good game, but I thought it was fun. Clock Tower. Yeah, Clock Tower I haven't played, but I know that Haunting Ground is inspired by Clock Tower. It's almost thought to be like a spiritual successor. Is that what I heard? Maybe that's wrong. I guess you're gonna tell me on Saturday when we play it. Fatal Frame would be a fun playthrough. I agree. Luigi's Mansion? Absolutely. I beat the shit out of all 3 of those games. Sounds like Little Nightmares 2. Yes, I would love to play Little Nightmares 2. I think for either Little Nightmares 2 or Little Nightmares 3, if you guys want, I'll force my better half to come on stream and help me with the game, since it's kind of co-op, and you can meet the coolest man alive. You'd love to watch me play Devour. What is that? What's Devour? A lot of horror games out. Can be a nice journey. Poppy Playtime is getting a new chapter. Okay, Poppy Playtime. I've heard that's a good one. I've seen a lot of things about it, but I haven't like consumed any content for it, so I'm not up to date on that one. There are games where I'm like, I'm gonna want to play that. I'm not gonna watch anything about it. I think that's one of them. Luigi's Mansion 3 is such an underrated game. I agree, but you know, there's a part of that game where you go into like a desert, and I always suck up all the sand because it is possible, and I do that every time. We can finally ask him if he's single directly. Yes, you can. I'm sure he'll love it. Devour is a co-op horror game about exorcising an area from a demon that gets more aggressive the further into the exorcism you get. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. I'll put it on the list. Devour. Phasmo, but more intense. I thought that would be like Demonology or whatever that game is called. Demophobia? Demon... I don't know. I don't know. I should put that on the list too, though. Mortuaries assistant. Devour really needs a group of people for best experience. Bro, do you think I have friends? I don't have any friends. I don't have any friends to connect with. They're all playing fucking Marvel Rivals right now. Demonology, that's what it's called. Yeah, the Backrooms. Backrooms might be fun. Is Outlast on my list? No, I think I've been playing that in my free time. And I'm forcing my husband to do a lot of it for me because it stresses me out. Play with the Lost Souls rotation? Yeah, that could be fun. I'm not sure how to set that up, but that could be really, really fun. Could do community memberships game thing. That is a perk of, I think, the highest tier for memberships. Please don't switch your memberships yet if you're paying for that perk, because I'm not sure how to set it up yet. I will be doing my research about it, but it would make me feel really fucking bad if you paid for that and didn't get it. So please don't. Resident Evil co-op, that could be fun. Oh, Code Veronica. You know what Resident Evil game I used to play a lot with my friend was the Dark Chronicles, which was like a Wii game. It was like a point and shoot Wii game, and I loved it. I loved that game. I remember thinking the graphics were so fucking fire. And then I got I think I got like a mod for my Switch or something so that I could replay it and relive the nostalgia, and I was like, God, these look terrible. Oh, those are fucking bad. Umbrella Chronicles. Was it Umbrella Chronicles? Let me check. Dark Side Chronicles is what it was called. Yeah. Tackle GameCube remake of Resident Evil 1. I've never played any of the Resident Evils before Resident Evil 4, and I'm not sure why. That could be really good. And they have a remake of Resident Evil 2, so I have literally no fucking reason why I shouldn't be playing it. Dredge, Lovecraftian. I do love Lovecraftian shit. Live, laugh, Lovecraft, as they say. Dredge, RE2. Remake 1 is in your top 3. I'm gonna believe you, and I'll put it on the list. RE1 remake and RE2 remake. Dredge is very good, but it's more of a story game. I like that. I'm not mad at that. I love a good story. I love to be immersed and like care about who I'm playing as. I think that's great. That honestly makes it more scary for me. I have never heard Live, Laugh, Lovecraft in my life, but now it's my life's motto. Thanks. Absolutely. I got really into Lovecraft when I was in my late teens. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you one more story. And this is a story about a dream that I had before I knew anything about like Lovecraft stuff. I guess I had a crazy dream that was so jarring to me that I wrote it down. Let's see if I can find it in here. I bet I can. Okay. Yeah, I found it. This is from like 2015 or 2016. Okay. And I wrote it down and I named it I Had the Strangest Dream. Okay. Because I was really edgy and I wanted to like make it into a short story or something, which I ended up making it into a comic. And I have like a bunch of art from it still, from my early like tablet days, which is really bad. But anyway, here we go. Last year, I had a really intense and vivid dream about a world falling into ruin, and it stuck with me, and I wanted to share it in better detail. And maybe it'll stick with you too by the end. I don't remember much of the beginning, but it's the end that I remember. Everyone was getting angry at each other for stupid shit. Well, we were trying to figure out what was happening. We were in this big building. Not just a building, but a big, almost abandoned school. There were these grotesque creatures and ravenous monsters outside the walls, and we had fought many of them off before holding up here. Everyone was getting intensely heated at each other over things that never happened. Everyone was losing their grip on what was real and what was not. So I stepped into the hallway to get away from it, and this fog seems to seep into the hallway from the room I was just in, and many other rooms, and I can feel blind anger rolling across my entire consciousness as the fog bleeds past me and continues to leak into every corner of the building. One of the men from my group tries to attack me in the fog, and in a blind rage, I get a third-person perspective of myself, reaching into his ribcage and ripping it open with the most vivid sounds of joints popping and bones cracking, flesh and organs squelching. I carry his mangled, bleeding husk back into the room my group is in and throw it on the ground before everyone. My mind implies that the fog is turning us, but I never said it out loud. They just look at the corpse before them and knew what I was implying. It is doing something to everyone, but as we all realize this, I see a figure run past our door in the hallway. I go out to investigate, and there are 30, maybe 40 grotesquely deformed, malnourished, and dirty children skittering every which way to the exits from the stairs. They are abnormally small children. And this was before Little Nightmares, by the way. This was before Little Nightmares ever came out. I feel like these might have been inspired by like the messed up kids from like the first American McGee's Alice video game or something. I don't really know. Let's see. They were abnormally small children. Some had stitches across their entire head, like they've had their skulls cut open and worked on. Some have pus, leaking wounds, and congealed stitches, like they've had limbs replaced or removed. One stops before me and I ask them why they are leaving shelter and willingly going out into the open where the monsters await. And she looks deep into my eyes and responds, "Don't you hear it? It's getting louder every day," and starts running in panic. Only then do I realize throughout the entire dream there has been a soft, subtle, pulsing, ringing like static in the background that has been getting louder and louder. As I start to wake up from this dream, it ends, and in those few moments before you are truly awake after having a dream. And in those few moments before you are truly awake after having a dream, I hear the same child say, "Someday soon, the great dreamer will awaken and come for us all." And when I finally woke up, my ears were ringing. What I learned the next day is why this dream sticks with me. And it is because there is a creature within Lovecraft horror called Cthulhu. And Cthulhu is sometimes referred to as the Great Dreamer. And that was something that I did not know because I had no idea who Cthulhu or H.P. Lovecraft was at that time. Ta-da. That was a strange dream that I had that inspired me to get really into Cthulhu because of some shit. True story as well. That's a dream that I wrote down for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that as well. We'll go back to the silly stream music now. Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of story I love. Don't you hear it? Yeah. Yeah, I'd never had a dream like that before or since, really. That was a really odd one. It's like a fucking prophetic message from the beyond. Yeah, in Lovecraft's time, they didn't have images of deep ocean fishes, and when they found them, they really looked like things he used to describe. Yeah. While reading H.P. Lovecraft, there were a lot of things that I was disappointed with, honestly, because a lot of his descriptions are like, it was a grotesque and bubbling flesh monster that was so grotesque we can't even imagine what it would be like, so I'm not even gonna try to explain it. And I'm like, can you try though? Can you try for me? I bet I could. I want to try. Lovecraft is my favorite author by far. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. I like his stories, but I'm still kind of like, I don't know. What I would like to see, okay, here's the thing. I fucking hate AI. And I hate AI generated images. But if there's one thing I feel like AI could do, it is create an image of a Lovecraftian horror. Lovecraft has always hits, but he has got a lot of misses. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. When I started reading him, you could tell he was a racist. What's the color Lovecraft? What is it? Yes, preach it. That's what I'm saying. Like, tell me what is the shape? And if you tell me that it's a bubbling mass that's constantly changing, hey, fuck you, man. I can imagine that. His stuff is short enough for my attention span. Yeah. Yeah. More of an innovator than a great writer. You know, I think it's just interesting. Like, he had a whole universe, a horror universe, like connected universe, really before that became a popular thing. And so I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that about him. But, guy was real fucking racist, though. One story's like, and then evil gremlins were Eskimo. Yeah, he's so out of pocket. Yeah, he's really bad. Yeah. Don't look up what his cat's name was. I think they touch on that in a South Park game as well. There's a boss that you fight in, I don't remember if it's Stick of Truth or Fractured But Whole, but there's like a monster that they pulled straight from Lovecraft. And it's just to highlight how racist he was. And holy shit, was it bad. My God, it was so bad. Color Out of Space, or just like you had something. Yeah, Color Out of Space, that was a good movie as well. If you've never seen that movie, maybe it's one that we'll watch sometime. Another scary game you can play on stream is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Oh, so scary. I love that game. That was, oh, those chows, man, they were my whole life. I neglected my Tamagotchis for my chows, you know? His fear of air conditioners was unhinged. Excuse me? The Herbert West stories are great because of it's Lovecraft taking the piss out of himself, which is a great line of the unimaginable horrors around us now numbered to a great too great to count. If we're talking about horror writers with cats, then Junji Ito must also be mentioned. I love Junji Ito. I can't say that I've like read a lot of his stuff, but I love his art and his art style. I find very cool. Chow. Yeah. Chow Garden. That's where I spent all my time. I did not play that game for the story. I played it to get new animals for my chows. That's all I wanted. I wanted my chow to be the best at the triathlon and the decathlon and the karate. God damn it, it was my favorite thing ever. Fuck. Man loves spirals. Ito really does. Yeah. Tommy Peak. Who's that? You guys are really gonna learn how dumb I am on these streams. How much I still have to learn. Sorry, I'm not dumb. I'm uneducated. Thank you for coming. Have a great night. Honestly, we stretched this out pretty far, huh? A few little stories in between. Uh-oh. Oh no. Out of memory? Oh. Oh no. Are we still live? I don't know. Let me check. I gotta check. You never know. Phew. Phew. Okay, cool. My whole shit crashed. I'm glad we're still on. Lovely. Phew. Phew. Great. I think that's so funny. I was just talking about how our stream is going longer and my whole computer was like, actually, fuck you. Oh no, our stream's haunted. Dude, who's doing blood magic right now? Cut it out. I know how to deal with it now, but please don't do that. The server error is real. Okay, it is. Computer's haunted. Cox gun. Computer's haunted. Oh, well, this has been incredible. I feel like I got to know you guys a little bit better, and I feel like I bared my soul to you, and almost my chest. Hides the Ouija board behind my back. Well, I hope you guys had fun. It's time for me to make dinner, honestly. Who fucking knew it was time for me to eat? As always, you know. But I hope you guys had a great night. And I hope you're just a little bit more spooked out now. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you all. And with that, I will say good night, sleep tight, and don't look under your bed tonight.